I realized I wasn't pursuing being happy. I was pursuing the regular, I gotta find a job, I have to support my family. I was talking to a buddy of mine, Lynn Thomas, who I think we most all know, and I was sitting there going, man, I'm trying to find a job and I'm trying to do these things, but I also have this idea for Sprelly. And he said, well, there's this thing called the Made in Fred competition, which is put on by the NextGen. You should enter into this and share your idea. And it's a business competition like that show Shark Tank. So I said, all right, I guess that's all right. About a week later, he asked if I had submitted anything. I said no, and he basically forced me to do it. And I remember going through the paperwork, and I think there were accounting questions and projections and stuff. And I'm like, man, I failed out of accounting. I don't want to answer this stuff for this competition. So I did the best I could. I filled out everything I could, and then go through the competition. And just in case you guys don't know, I presented. I was one of the finalists, and I ended up winning the People's Choice Award. So it was at the Mary Wash Auditorium, and how many? There was like 180 people, something like that, and they all voted on their favorite idea, to which I won the People's Choice Award. So that gave me a little bit of confidence that this idea could actually work. And at the same time, my unemployment benefits were running out. So I had a kind of a come to Jesus moment, like, okay, it seems like it could work. People like it. I've spent some time in researching it. This could actually not be a big red truck. This could actually maybe make money. And simultaneously, when I decided that, and I wanted to pursue Sprelly, and the unemployment benefits were running out, I had told Casey, I said, Casey, I think this is what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna actually give this a shot. And that was when she had her first anxiety attack. So I met one of the judges at the Made in Fred. His name's Matt Armstrong, and he helped put together another business competition called Startup Weekend, which was over at Germana. And there, talk about being vulnerable, I walk in there, and this is a business competition where they basically say, if you have an idea, we're gonna vote on it, and the top 5 are gonna form teams, and then you're going to do it. This weekend, 54-hour Crunch Fest. And I was encouraged to be a part of it. So I did this. Again, I got up, I pitched this concept. Then I was one of the top 5 finalists, formed a team, and then I became absolutely vulnerable. I met this handsome young man, Andrew Curtis here, who I said to him, he goes, do you have an Instagram account? I go, what's Instagram?
We still don't know.
I still don't know what is the point of Instagram.
What is Facebook?
What is Facebook? And so he's like, it's like pictures, but a story. I'm like, well, Facebook has pictures. He's like, get an Instagram account. I'm like, what's Instagram? So because of Andrew and guys like Chris Muldrow, Matt Armstrong, Eric Schaup, these guys were the dudes who supported me. When I'm walking around, like, I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm just walking around in a beard and long hair, and I guess I'll figure something out. But they really helped me understand this whole new side of business when it comes to social media and business plan writing and all these things. It's because of this specific weekend at Germana starting up the business. So got up on stage and pitched it again, and we won the People's Choice Award again. So now I'm like, okay, there have been enough people who've heard this idea. I guess they like it. I guess I can do something with it.
Don't for the taste test.
We did a taste test. Foodie, by the way, Foodie, thank you.
We didn't make the food.
Yeah, so we did a taste test when Foodie was at its other location. We said, listen, your Sunday brunches, you get a line of people down the street. You mind if we set up camp like right outside and have these people taste our concept for sandwiches? And we're like, yeah, go for it, sure. And Beth and Joy have both been very supportive for me since day one. Stacey and I bought peanuts and chips and all sorts of things, started playing around with some recipes. And in the spring of 2014 was our very first sale at the Expo Center that I was laid off from 8 months prior. Which this quick side note was, when I got laid off, Casey got promoted and ended up taking over what I was doing, which was getting the home shows and RV shows and all those shows up and running, and she's doing a much better job at it than I ever did. And it's hilarious. We have a little competition. I'm like, oh, what was your revenue on that one? Oh, you got me this time. So yeah, to go back to the spring of 2014 and my first sale at the place where I was laid off, we sold out of what we were doing that weekend, and that was like my first, wow, I actually monetized this in a fairly substantial way. It wasn't just a couple of $50. Like, it was a good bit of money, and I was almost euphoric that I made money for myself, that I relied on myself to do that. So we eventually signed up for farmers markets and fairs, and you've seen us out and around and trying out the peanut butter to everybody. And I had this blueprint of what I wanted to do with the business. And I was following it, or I was starting to follow it, and the next thing was to figure out if I wanted to get into a food truck or a brick and mortar location. So I was just kind of going back and forth, trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to do. And by complete chance, a fellow competitor of mine, Spencer Devon Brewing, that was at the Made in Fred competition, he was opening up his restaurant and recruited the executive chef to go work for them, which vacated the Made in Virginia store lunch counter. So Bill Freeling said, hey, this is happening. This could be a perfect place for you. So again, if it wasn't for a guy like Bill Freeling doing these community things, starting the Made in Fred competition, suggesting that I should move in here, a guy like me would never be in business. I would never have been awarded these opportunities. So I decided this could be a perfect place to get started with what I want to do. And I signed the lease and paid the lease for 15 months without basically stepping foot into the place.
Second anxiety.
Second anxiety.
She throws that right in.
Right. And there were issues. I was figuring out these things about permitting and blueprints and health code things, like complete new world of information that I had to learn. But simultaneously, I still had this huge fear of failure lingering over my head. Like, man, you failed at a lot of stuff in your life. You can't get involved in something like this and fail, because that just sucks, and you don't want to be known for a guy that does that kind of thing. So it was the Christmas parade of 2015, where in the place there was no construction, nothing going on, that we decided to sell hot chocolate out the window. And I saw a line across the alley, people waiting money in hand to buy hot chocolate, and we couldn't keep up with it. And that was the moment where I sat there, I'm like, man, get your shit together, because you got people waiting to pay you. Like, get on it. So I was figuring out, okay, when can I open? It's the winter, it's slow season. I got to figure out opening in the spring. Learned that National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day is April 2nd. So last year, right now, this time, I was finishing construction and inspections at my storefront on Caroline Street, getting ready to open on April 2nd, which was National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. Now, throughout all these things that I've been doing, like I said, I've been relying on the help of a lot of people. I was choosing to be vulnerable, saying, hey, Andrew, I don't understand any of this, please help me. Hey, Beth and Joy, what is food cost and what should that be and how do I work it in and all this stuff. I was vulnerable because I didn't know. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I will change and I will learn faster than anyone. So I rely on the help of Rick's Roasters, coffee, they supply our coffee. They did the farmers market circuit, and they were very helpful in what we should do for farmers markets. And toward the end of last summer, I saw how it picked up, and I understood when I talked to all these other businesses about how it picks up in the summer and all these things, and I saw that, wow, people are actually coming into my store and they are actually buying product, and I'm actually being able to support myself and my family, and this is actually happening. And that's when like the full belief of myself and in myself occurred, that if I really honestly believe this and it's happening and it's working, then if I believe anything, then I can make that happen. So within 1 year of opening, I won the Entrepreneur of the Year, which was back in January. I was notified actually 2 weeks ago that Virginia Living magazine voted Sprelly as one of the top local sandwich places in all of Central Virginia. And the issue comes out in May, and I'll find out if I'm first, second, or third place in that. which, I mean, again, I was just a failure that stumbled into this business competition. Now I'm going into these magazines, and there's another magazine called Food Service Monthly. Huh? I'm listed on Food Network. Yeah. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff that has happened, which has been really surprising to me. This Food Service Monthly magazine is coming out in, I think, a couple months. It comes out every month. It goes out to 20,000 paid subscribers, and it goes out to restaurants. And they contacted me and they said, "We love your story. We love what's going on. We love your concept. We want to make you a cover story of our magazine." And I'm like, okay, let's go with it. Like, let's write it. Why not? So I've kept pretty true to the plan of the Made in Fred competition with how I want this business to go and how I want it to be in the community. But also in that plan has been this idea for franchising, is to scale this business. The only thing I want to do with Sprelly is to scale it into a nationwide business on some level. And last year, have you guys heard of Justin's Nut Butter? It's like, you know, organic, okay. He started off 10 years ago in farmers markets, kind of a similar thing, but got into the retail game. And last year he sold his business for $246 million. Have you heard of Shake Shack? Mm-hmm. Right? I remember hearing that they had 60, 70 locations and went public, and they received $1 billion plus valuation. So I look there, I look at my journey, I look at everything, and I say, well, if I believe in myself and if I do my best to achieve, then I can get up to where these guys are. If they can do it, why can't I do it? So that's my only mission, is to scale this into that kind of a level. So I would say, you know, that to conclude, my failures in life just honestly show me, and it sounds cliche, that when you believe in yourself all the time, no matter how many times you stumble, and you just keep moving forward and toward a goal, you'll get there. You know, like, you'll get there. It sounds cliche, but I'm living proof of it. Being vulnerable, I know a lot of people think that that's almost considered a weakness. I think it's a strength, because if you're vulnerable, you get to find out what you need to work on with yourself if you open yourself up to people. And choosing and having the choice of always trying to do something good, choosing to be happy. It sounds cliche, but it is true. You can wake up to choose to be happy, or you can choose to make others happy. So those, I would say, would be the little takeaways that I can offer. Again, it's just my story, how I perceive my life, and lessons like that. So that's all I got. I don't know if you guys have any questions or want me to elaborate on anything. That's it.